Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. Joining me this evening, Pinkalicious, Jacob Pinkalicious. And our special guest host this evening, Baby Maggie. Hi.
Hi. Wave. Wave.
Hi.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, and we've got
there
the one
she
and only
is.
Christina.
And there's Christina. Yep. Maggie, of course, filling in for Earl this evening. So I'm sure her takes will be just as hot as Earl's have been of late. So.
Oh, and just like Earl, she flaked out on us.
That she did. That's okay. I'm sure she'll be back at some point throughout the evening. It's not quite a fun weekend for those of us that were New Mexico United supporters. New Mexico United obviously losing 4-0 to Sacramento Republic, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But Christina, it's been a minute since we've seen you. It's been a minute since you've been on the show. Hopefully you are doing well. Hopefully you've recovered and back from your trip, and hopefully you're doing. How have you been?
Back to the grind. Yeah. Awesome trip. I did get sick. So last week, had a cold, kind of lost my voice. Would not have been a great addition to the show, but it was fun to join through the chat. So
yeah, sometimes it's easier to just focus on the chat and not have to worry about talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it is. Already over the chat, we got Justin and Josh. How you guys doing tonight? Glad to have you with us. I think we're doing well this evening. Jacob, how are you? How is your weekend?
I'm good. Before I answer any questions, I have to do something. Otherwise, I'll get berated on Twitter again and again and again. So right here, live on the show, I'm going to take my phone.
He's going to be very proud of you.
And I'm going to go to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this app that requires me to take a deep breath to get into YouTube because I spend a lot of time on YouTube otherwise.
Well, that's an interesting app. You might have to share the name of that with everybody here because
it's called ClearSpace.
ClearSpace, okay.
And it's actually pretty cool. So you can set it to where you have to do push-ups or squats to earn time on social media.
Well, let's get to it then.
I had that on. I had that feature for a while, but it's the paid feature, and I got rid of the paid version for now. But I might be getting that back at some point. I just didn't need it at the time. And it is kind of cumbersome when I'm trying to do work stuff like this. Like if I didn't have any time, I would have literally had to get up and go do some push-ups or some squats. And that would have been annoying. So
I am genuinely curious. This app tells you need to take a deep breath before you go down YouTube. What sort of YouTube rabbit holes are you going down that you need to take?
No, it does that for any app that you have under it. So any social media app, entertainment app, anything like that. So I spend most of my time on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, but Facebook and Instagram aren't really my issues. It's YouTube. I will go down long, not rabbit holes, but I'll watch longer videos on it. And so to deter myself, I have this app that makes me like actually go through like a 2-step verification to be like, hey, are you sure you want to do this right now?
Okay. Yeah, I better let Shadow Wolf know that we are live because we can't disappoint Shadow Wolf.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to tag him right now.
You're going to tag him right now. Okay, perfect. Well, while Jacob is taking care of business over there, I mean, Christina, tell us, talk to us a little bit about your weekend, what you've been up to. I mean, obviously, you said you were out of town, not feeling well. What was the atmosphere? Did you get to a watch party this weekend?
I did not go to a watch party, and I spent a good chunk of time figuring out, okay, how am I going to watch the game? Because I do not have cable. I ended up doing a YouTube live free subscription, which is funny because it was only for one day. Otherwise, it's like $70 a month, which is crazy to me. And usually when you do a trial, you can just immediately cancel it, but still have access for like that day or that week, right? not YouTube Live, FYI, people. So I thought, I don't want to forget to cancel it. So I canceled it. There was about like 8 minutes left in the game. Not that I was really wanting to watch that 8 minutes, but it cut me out. Like, boom, you're done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I did miss the last about 8 minutes of the game because I canceled my free trial.
Well, I think it's safe to say you didn't miss much. Yeah, normally, you know, Jacob has been kind enough to share his DirecTV account with Earl and myself, and so we ran into a problem on Sunday where there were too many people using the account all at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did. So
I never got that issue.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I have a Proton Mail account that I use for gaming and things like that, and one of the things that Proton offers is a free VPN. So I did I turned on the VPN and pretended I was in Japan. So I was able to watch on YouTube for free. So
Oh, you should have gone wherever Shadow Wolf is.
I probably could have. I didn't find a German server in time, but so yeah, I got to watch the game. You know, that's one of the problems with all these different providers now is, you know, how do you manage? And yeah, they have cable subscriptions or satellite subscriptions, and had this been a few weeks ago, we wouldn't be able to watch it anyway on DirecTV because, you know, DirecTV and Disney were fighting amongst each other. So fortunately that got worked out. So the ESPN was still available on DirecTV, and now DirecTV and Dish might be merging. Did you see this?
It's hard to keep up with all of that.
I've been trying to read this, and like it's just ridiculous. I don't need DirecTV and Dish to merge. That just becomes Xfinity again. So
yeah,
we don't need all that.
I mean, it's hard because it's great for the game to be on national TV, more eyeballs. I get that, but I don't love when it's when I'm trying to figure out how to actually watch the game.
That is very true. I know people have had issues, you know, whether it's on Golasso, which you can get for free in a bunch of different places, or ESPN2, or, you know, even on ESPN Plus and YouTube. And, you know, there's lots of different ways to watch, but you have to really pay attention, because I think if you weren't up in the know going into the weekend, you probably would have missed out on the fact that it was on ESPN2. Now, that being said, with it being a national broadcast, this is not the way we would have wanted this to go.
Well, hold on, guys. So hear me out. What if all the streaming services were just combined into one thing that had a bunch of channels that you would just pay one larger amount for every month, and then you could just channel surf until you found what you wanted, and you could have things like all the USL games and all the NFL games available for different amounts of money on top of your monthly subscription to a bigger platform. I think that sounds like a great idea.
That's a crazy idea. That would never work, Jacob.
Oh, you're right. It
Never.
didn't work.
Never.
That's why we're in the boat that we are now, where we have 15 people taking our money instead of one.
Yep. Yeah, and with this new Disney, HBO, whatever deal, you can get everything except the ESPN Plus. So I was really looking forward to that bundle. I'm like, okay, maybe I switch over time, but there's no way to do it. I mean, you can switch, but then you lose ESPN Plus. So
well, then just go pay for ESPN Plus.
Yeah, but then you're still paying what, $23, $26 a month, whatever it is for, I'm already paying $22 for Disney as is.
Full disclosure, I don't know what ESPN Plus by itself is, because I've got the Hulu Disney bundle. But last time when I did have it by itself, it was like $7.
Yeah, not anymore.
And there's no way it's 20.
No.
Right
no, the Disney HBO whatever bundle is like 20, 24, something like that. And then if you throw ESPN on top of it, ESPN Plus on top, you're going to pay more than the ESPN Plus bundle right now. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just a lot. And then you got to have, if you watch as much soccer as much as some of us do, you got to have Paramount Plus, you got to have Apple TV, you got to have, you got to have YouTube, you got to have, yeah, it's ridiculous. But unfortunately, you can watch NWSL for free over on Twitch. So I don't know.
Yeah, Josh, I actually tweeted at Mike and Devin about the curse, the curse that they bring. But Devin did come back with some receipts and tell me, hey,
Yeah, but they were receipts from 2019.
Yeah, that's true too.
They were nowhere near current.
But he was pretty gracious.
He was.
Today or yesterday, he tweeted about, we're still number one, still X, Y, and Z. Like, it's okay. Don't lose hope.
I think it will be a fun exercise to go back and find all the matches that either or both have done together and see what our record is in those.
Horrible.
Yeah.
There's a reason I think that I feel like it's a curse.
Well,
that and being on national TV, we just don't do well on national TV either.
No, we really haven't. Speaking of horrible, let's get into it. 4-0 Sunday afternoon affair. And let's be honest, this match started out very similarly to the home match against Sacramento about 2 weeks ago. Sacramento came out on the front foot again, and they score within 6 minutes. So, let's just jump right at what went wrong on Sunday.
I wasn't surprised to see Sacramento coming out full force. They did the same thing at the lab. And if Alex hadn't been standing on his head, that's why he was my man of the match at that game, because he kept us in the game. This time around, no luck there, and then we're on our heels and playing catch up, and I think they just were able to finally capitalize on that heavy press.
Yeah, they certainly were, and you see the early goal off the back of Cicerone. Bit of a lucky bounce there for them, but it certainly didn't slow them in any sense. We certainly didn't react well to that goal. And yes, Alex was back. Yes, you get what's probably going to be fairly close to our playoff team sheet here, but I don't know, and it's a lot of things just did not work right. And I think it's hard to pick out any one individual player as far as who did something wrong. I think this is just Sacramento finally putting the pieces together and showcasing what this team can do.
Yeah, I think so. We've had a handful of road matches that have kind of looked like this. Now this is our third one this year where we haven't looked fantastic whatsoever. And I think it's like we're 30 matches in essentially, or we are 30 matches in. They're 29 matches in. We're 30 matches in. At that point, we kind of know who we are. Like this one match does not define our season. It does not define who we are as a team. We're not a 4-0 loss to Sacramento every match type of team. We proved that 11 days ago, or 11 days before this, when we beat them at the lab. And so we have these hiccups. I think had they not gotten that fortunate goal off of Cicerone's back shoulder in the 6th minute, this could be a very different match. I think once that happened, you can want to see fire and passion from these guys match in and match out. And I think there's times when you should expect that. Being up 13 points on them going into this match, having just beaten them at home, it's not there's no way that the team can have as much passion as they did when they played at the lab. And for us to expect that is kind of unfair. And so, yes, they're paid athletes. They are getting paid to do this. I don't know about you, but I've got good days and bad days at my job all the time. And that's with me loving my job. But there are still times when I show up and it's just not the same. I don't have the same energy. And so I'm not freaking out about this performance whatsoever. If we score any of these 3 or 4 chances that they're showing right now at the end of the second half, things could be very different. But we didn't. We got out of there. I don't believe anybody was injured. We still have a 10-point lead. We need 2 wins. If Sacramento runs the table, we need 2 wins. And that's a big if, because they have proven all season that they can do this. They can have these type of performances. But then they can turn around and lose to Detroit. They can turn around and lose to us. They can turn around and lose to or draw with Tulsa. There's a bunch of different iterations of this team. We got their best shot, which we should have expected, with their backs against the wall, coming off of 2 straight losses. And when this match started, they were sitting in 4th. So, of course, they were going to come out and try to take it to us. And once things started to go wrong, it was kind of just like, okay, well, we still have other chances to win the West. We don't need it right now. Let's maybe not try necessarily as hard. And Tambakis didn't look 100% still. I'm not going to blame Tambakis for any of those things. He wasn't moving as fluidly as he usually does. He seemed a little slow in decision making and just wasn't fully himself. So whatever that injury was that kept him out last week, he's still clearly still recovering from it, in my opinion. But you still see saves like that. So he's still gonna be fine. It's just you shake it off and you move on.
So they did mention early in the broadcast that Alex had come out of concussion protocol. So that's why he missed last week. You guys had mentioned that he did not look well after the last home match. So that's what that was last week with him being out. Could he still be feeling the effects? I mean, sure. Maybe that's what the case was here. You go back, you look at the second goal that Sack scored, and it's also people criticizing that. Why didn't he just fall to the ground? Why did he just try to stick out a knee or a foot or whatever? And I think it's a valid criticism, but it looks like the ball might have also taken a slight deflection. It's there's a lot of things that could have gone a completely different way. And obviously on the third goal, Alex makes a fantastic save, only for the ball to fall to Sacramento immediately. So ball bounces a little bit different. That Cicerone goal doesn't happen. Alex makes a better save, puts the ball over the bar, or he gets a foot to the one, and it does become a different match at that point. Justin asked the question, whatever happened to Zico? Zico was a late scratch. We don't know the exact injury. The broadcast made it sound like it was just a knock, something minor that got picked up, very late in the week, or even earlier in the day during warm-ups potentially. So hopefully we see him back, because we don't play till next Wednesday. So get these guys rested and healthy, and be ready to go for Rising next week. But I mean, realistically, looking at the way this match played out, is there anyone that could have done better? Like that pointedly could have made a difference in this one?
I feel like Reyes was really struggling, and if Earl probably wishes he was here. I think that he just doesn't have the speed for the type of gameplay that we were seeing, and the long balls that Sacramento was playing, their heavy press, and the speed that they were playing. I felt like he just couldn't quite keep up.
Well, that certainly is an answer. I mean, I don't think he got near as many touches as we would have liked to have seen him get. I also think that a lot of his touches came more in the center of the pitch, more near midfield than you would like for a forward, for a striker. And there really wasn't a lot of interplay between him and Greg Hurst, and we really seemed to struggle getting the ball forward for a significant portion of the match. I saw the halftime stats, and I was surprised.
I was too.
It did not feel 50-50 on possession. It did not feel like we had I think it was a fairly even number of shots on target. it didn't feel that way by the flow of the match. So,
well, yeah, because everything up until that last flurry of chances, we had nothing as far as opportunities, and so the possession that we had for I'd say 40 minutes was all in our own defensive third, basically. And so it was that little late flurry was the only time we actually ever got real good chances on goal. And Vidiello stood on his head. I mean, he struggled in New Mexico, but he performed very well there in Sacramento in the limited chances that he had to save.
Yeah. And Justin, Zico was listed as starting, but again, as I mentioned, potentially, something earlier in the day, something during warm-ups. We don't really know because the lineups are created and have to be reported to the league no later than an hour prior to kickoff. So, I mean, there's no telling when something happened or when the decision was made to scratch Zico from the team sheet. So, I mean, we can talk about 4-0 loss. We still have 4 matches to play. Sac has 5. How, Jacob? You said you're not worrying, but does this match matter? Does what to me and some others look like not necessarily a lack of caring, but almost a lack of energy in this one from us? Like, does that matter going forward?
Time will tell, right? Like, to me, I'm not worried about it. I don't think it matters right now. We had a bad match. We've had bad matches in the past. We already know, like, there were people arguing about Shadow Wolf was actually one of them about well, this just gives Sacramento confidence. Sacramento didn't need confidence. Like, Sacramento knows that they can beat us. They have played us. We've been pretty even in the past. To answer Jane's question in the chat over on Facebook, she said, have we ever beat Sac on their home pitch? We've drawn the last 2 seasons prior to this one, of course. We did beat them in Sacramento in 2019. That was the Brucey Wonder Strike that the announcers treated as if it was a tap in from 2 feet away. And so we have beat them there. It has been a while, but they really haven't beat us there except for in the playoffs. And so I don't think they needed confidence. I don't think it gives them any confidence necessarily. I don't think it's going to deter us. I think we're strong enough mentally, and we're a good enough club that it's not. I don't think we're going to go into a tailspin just because we went to one of the harder places in the West to play and lost to them. Yes, we lost to them in ridiculous fashion. I agree with that. But for the most part, this is what happens. Like, if you look at the whole the season as a whole, we either lose by 1 in a match that we have probably deserved more out of, or we get shellacked. There's really been like no in between. And so this is just one of those ones where we didn't have it. They scored early off of a lucky bounce and we shut off. Quill was pissed about it, rightfully so. Fans can be upset about it, but to think the sky is falling and to have comments like I've seen in other places or around social media of like, hey, I know we're the 1 seed, but
do we look like the 1 seed?
Yeah, we don't play like the 1 seed.
Team?
We never played like the 1 seed. All this stuff, and it's like, no. When we at this point, you are what your record says you are, and so we are clearly a good team, and clearly a strong team that has a chance in the playoffs. Just because we lose 4-0 to Sacramento, guess what? We're not going to have to play Sacramento in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like Sacramento's backs were a bit against the wall. They had lost to us in a big way. They had dropped to 4th, right? They had lost. They're coming in off of losses, home field in front of their fans on national TV. Like, they had something to prove. And for us, better to get it out of our system now. And, you win or you learn. And so this was a learning opportunity for them so that it doesn't get repeated if we do end up seeing them again in the playoffs.
Yep, very good point. Very good point. And yeah, to the comment about the social media stuff. I mean, it was on Facebook. I didn't really look at the Reddit stuff. Most of the Reddit community has moved over to Discord now. But there were definitely some comments there as well. I mean, yes, we are a playoff team. Was it a bad performance? Yes. That doesn't mean we're not, like I said, doesn't mean we're not a playoff team. So,
and like I told Shadow Wolf, like Lou City is probably the most dominant team that I have seen in the USL Championship, probably since, as much as it pains me to say, since the 2019 Phoenix team. And they got trounced at home by Rhode Island at one point this season. Mm-hmm. Like at home, they lost 5-2 to a team that is fighting for a playoff spot. They just lost to, I want to say it was Hartford, who's not even in the playoffs right now. Like, even the best teams in the league are going to have some stinkers. Now, they haven't lost 4-0, but 3-2 at home or 5-2 at home is pretty bad. And so, and it wasn't like they had a bunch of squad rotation that day. Like, and even if they did, it's freaking Lou City. They have the depth to where even their B squad is better than 90% of the teams in this league. And so it happens. It happens to everybody. And luckily, it wasn't in the playoffs.
That is very true. Speaking of the playoffs, let's take a look over at the standings and the playoff picture as a race to the playoffs as it stands as of right now. So after the match on Sunday, our gap to second place drops to 10 points. We do have 4 matches to play. Sacramento Republic has a match in hand again. So Sacramento can cap out at this point at 62 points, which means that our absolute magic number to be safe in the number 1 seed is 63. So 6 points guarantees us the number 1 seed. Now, there are other scenarios in which we clinch that, okay? But we have to look into this week first. When you look at what's coming up, Sacramento, they play this weekend against San Antonio FC. So Sacramento can clinch a playoff berth in a couple different scenarios. First being they win at San Antonio, which, Harry, we love you, but I don't know what the odds on this one are. I'd have to say that Sac is favored even on the road here. So chances of Sacramento clinching a playoff berth fairly high this weekend. Okay. Next up, you have Colorado Springs. They're currently sitting third. Their magic number to clinch the playoffs is 4 points. They can clinch if FC Tulsa loses at El Paso or to El Paso this weekend, and San Antonio fails to winning at Sacramento. So you've got 2 teams that can potentially clinch this weekend in the Western Conference to add the number 2 and potentially second and third seeds. Now, Las Vegas can also clinch this weekend as well. Las Vegas is in if they win versus Orange County, or if they draw against Orange County and FC Tulsa loses to El Paso. So potential for 3 teams in the West to clinch their spots this weekend. You still got a little more room to go between once you get down to Memphis and so on. But that's where we stand right now. 2 points for New Mexico United guarantees us a top 2 spot. I can tell you that much. So we do hold the tiebreaker over Colorado. And I do still have some more research to do into our tiebreakers with Las Vegas, because nothing's decided between first and second tiebreakers between us and them. So it would come down to points per game in the Western Conference. Will be the third tiebreaker between us and Las Vegas, but 2 points guarantees us top 2 finish. Now, of our remaining schedule, obviously 4 matches left, 2 at home, 2 on the road. Our 2 remaining matches at home, you've got Phoenix Rising, there you go, and Memphis 901. One of which is more than likely guaranteed a playoff spot. The other one, we don't know yet. And then those 2 road games away, you got FC Tulsa and Orange County. Again, 2 tough teams. The back end of our schedule is not necessarily easy. Now, we mentioned 6 points guarantees us first place in the West. Where do we get them?
Well, our record shows that we've been doing good at home. Knock on wood, that continues. So, in theory, we'd get them against Phoenix and Memphis. I sure would hate to wait till the very last game, though, to seal in that number 1 spot. But that sounds very New Mexican.
Well, that's also assuming that Sacramento runs the table on theirs too. So we could, as it stands right now, like Seth said, we need to. I don't think we need to. I don't think Sacramento's going to run the table. But if we do have to have two, I think it's the next two. I think even that Tulsa one being away on short rest, I think the Sacramento match might have woken us up a little bit and said, okay, let's stop messing around. FC Tulsa is not as good of a club as Sacramento. Let's just go ahead and take care of business these next two matches and celebrate the 1 seed, and then maybe we can look at resting against Orange County, and then I don't think we'd rest against Memphis because it's a home game, but just to kind of chill.
I think you want that momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
definitely do.
Speaking of which, real quickly, I have not seen a playoff schedule yet.
It will be on Sundays because they did a poll.
So the only thing that I've seen was when they put out the regular season schedule back in December. It says that the first round of the playoffs will take place between November 1st and November 3rd, which is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Usually they spread it out, I think.
Lobos have a 2:00 kick on that Saturday.
Then we'll probably either be Friday or Sunday.
Yeah, I feel like I think they sent a poll to season ticket holders saying,
"Oh, okay,
which would you prefer, a Friday at this time or a Sunday at this time?"
Okay.
Did you see the results of that poll, or
it's probably
no?
internal.
It was like
it's one of those or the office surveys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Justin says ours is on Sunday per Peter.
So we're probably looking at Sunday the 3rd then, a week after we play Colorado Springs, and then the championship is the weekend of the 23rd, I think.
I don't think so.
It was before my anniversary. My anniversary is on the 28th.
Because I mean, you'd be looking at round of 8, round of 4, maybe the conference championship the weekend of the 23rd. Is that what you're talking about? Because that wouldn't be the USL Cup, I wouldn't think.
I thought it was the final. Let me look up what that story said real quick.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to look into it. And I know last year it was about 2 weeks ago, this time last year, that the league put out hey, here's the playoff schedule for this season, with all the potential dates and all of that. So I kept looking for the league to put something out, and I haven't seen anything.
So one thing that I did learn from Devin Kerr and Mike Watts was that points against the second place in the East isn't going to matter. Mm-hmm. So if we win the 1 seed, and if we win the 1 seed, as long as Lou City doesn't win the East and we win the West, we will host the championship, regardless of if Charleston is the one that comes out and has more points than us. Which I thought was interesting and good to know.
Yeah.
So it says
when
here.
That is.
It says here, the playoffs will kick off on the weekend of November 1st through the 3rd. Will remain a single elimination format and a fixed bracket format. The postseason will culminate in the 2024 USL Championship Final on CBS on a to-be-determined date between November 21st and November 25th.
So that means you're going to have some people playing. You're going to be playing a midweek somewhere in there for the playoffs, because that's a 3-week span.
No, it's 4.
No, it's not.
We'd play
3,
on
2 and a half. 2 and a half.
It would be on the
Yeah.
second. We'd play the first, second, or third. Then we'd play the 8th, 9th, or 10th. Then we'd play the 16th, 17th, or 18th.
Oh,
And then
maybe.
the fourth one would be the 23rd,
Yeah.
24th, 25th.
Okay. I don't know. I wish they'd just, be like, here's the dates, Like I said, last year it was very clear what they were doing,
I mean, that's pretty clear to me. The first round's
I
going to
don't
start on
know.
the 1st through the 3rd, and then the final's going to be the 21st through the 25th. And then the second round will be the 8th, 9th, 10th. Third round will be 15th, 16th, 17th. That's fairly standard, I feel like.
I don't know. It just feels like they haven't, like I said, they haven't said anything, since then. So I'm just like, okay, well, like I said, it was this time last year, 2 weeks ago, that they put out a definite, here's what here's what it is. So I don't know. It just kind of, I don't know, it kind of feels like the league's sitting on it a bit. I don't know why.
Well,
but
what
Yeah,
did
it's
they put
kinda
out?
odd.
What did they put out 2 weeks ago at this time last year?
it was, if you actually go to the standings page right now, if you click that link at the bottom that says 2024 season structure, click on that and then go to see more for playoffs. It goes to last year's playoffs.
Oh gosh.
It goes to last year's. So then they actually had something, yeah. And then they actually put out an actual like announcement last year, like 2 weeks ago around this time, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, with the actual like, playoff dates. So, but yeah, it was, so that link at the bottom still goes to last year's. I don't know. It just feels odd that they haven't made some sort of announcement. Because a lot of people aren't like us. They're not going to go back and look at a year's worth of announcements, to
Yeah.
find the information. So that's just me.
Well, I'm realizing that I'm out of town the 20th through the 25th.
Oh no.
I know. Oh no.
You better hope we don't host.
Oh,
I'd be
Would-
getting back if that was the case.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well,
That's
without telling us,
quite
are you
a
going to be
realization I'm
any
having.
without
What's that?
telling us? Are you going to be anywhere near Louisville just in case?
No, I'm
No,
gonna be
okay.
I'm gonna be in California.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no East teams that play in California.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. So looking at the rest of the West, obviously you've got, I think it's safe to say Sac, Colorado, and Vegas are in at this point. Memphis, Oakland, Rising, Orange County, Tulsa, even San Antonio. And you could, I guess, technically you could say Monterey and El Paso still have a shot at it. But that's still a lot of teams for 4 spots. Do we see anything here that could potentially shift? Could San Antonio make a run? They've won 2 of 5. Could Monterey do something? I mean, obviously, I'm not expecting El Paso to make the jump, but you've got, like I said, you've got 6 teams, 7 teams for 4 spots.
So, looking at that, like El Paso is a no, obviously.
Yeah.
To me, when I look at it, I break it down to who's going to finish 2nd through 5th, because there's only 4 points, I believe, that separate Sacramento from Memphis in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oakland's kind of Oakland. They're going to be in 6th. They might creep up if Memphis or Vegas falter. They might creep down if they hit a bad run, but they're 4 points up on Phoenix. So
if they hit a bad run, they're in a bad
I
run.
mean, yeah, they are in the middle of
if they continue faltering as badly as they are now, if that happens, then maybe Phoenix and some others can catch them. But to me, it comes down to Phoenix, Orange County, and Tulsa for those last 2 spots. To me, it's those 3 for the last 2. There's going to be a ton of shuffling up 2 through 5, maybe 2 through 6, maybe 6 through 8. But I think depending on how you feel about Tulsa. The 8 that are in are probably the 8 that are going to stay there. If I was a betting man, I would bet on that. Of course, if I was betting that on that, the odds would be bad. So maybe not. We're not going to go into my nerd sports betting brain right now. But
who's Tulsa playing?
It's a great question.
Yeah, what are their upcoming?
I know they play us.
El Paso, North Carolina, us, and Hartford.
Oh man. Okay, I take it back. Maybe Tulsa gets in. What about OC? Let's see who OC's got here.
Orange County's got Vegas, Colorado, El Paso, us.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel like Tulsa's got an easier run than Orange County.
But Orange County has a match in hand, and so one win really does some damage there. And so I don't know.
Rising schedule is not very favorable either. They have Monterey, us, Oakland, Memphis, and Lou City. So, I mean, you got Monterey,
and they just got shellacked by, not shellacked, but they got kind of taken to the woodshed by somebody this last week.
That was fun.
Orange County, actually. Orange County.
They lost to Orange County and Vegas this week.
And the Vegas game was
very entertaining.
Yeah.
Very, very entertaining.
While we're at it, let's look at Oakland's schedule too. Oakland, they have Memphis, Phoenix, Vegas, Birmingham.
Jeez. So it's going to be who the hell can hold on for dear life for the rest of this month.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I don't like San Antonio's chances here.
I don't know. That's
Sac, El Paso, Colorado, Lou City.
I saw El Paso and was like, well, there's 3, but yeah, no.
No.
Does Monterey Bay have a favor? Somebody's got to have a favorable schedule, right?
I mean, Sacramento does.
The one team that we don't want to have a favorable schedule.
Right. So Monterey has Phoenix, Sacramento, Switchbacks, and Tulsa.
Yeah. And so
I really think Sacramento's got like the best schedule here. You've got again San Antonio.
But Sacramento, you're gonna look at Sacramento's schedule. Like it still has one playoff team and two teams fighting for their playoff lives. And so it's gonna be easy.
Yeah, but look, you got San Antonio, Monterey, and El Paso.
Yeah, but San Antonio and Monterey Bay, if they want any chance of making the playoffs, are going to be doing what Sacramento did to us as far as coming out with like full force. And then Memphis Memphis and Colorado Springs are not easy games.
Wait, no,
and who the hell knows? By the time
Colorado's in, right? Colorado's essentially in. Memphis is 5 points.
Yeah, but that 2 through 5 is going to be they're going to be jockeying for position until the final weekend.
Yeah.
Unless Sacramento goes on a run and puts second place firmly in their grasp, then those 5 teams are going to be trying like hell to avoid that 5th spot. And when you're only up by 4 points, like Sacramento is right now, and yes, Sacramento just kicked our ass. Full disclosure, yes. But look at that. They've lost 3 of their last 5.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why they're only 4 points ahead on Memphis, because that's who they are this year. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
They're super inconsistent. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they slip up to even El Paso at that point. You just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still contend they have the easiest schedule, but I mean, you got 2 playoff teams, 3, that are more likely not going to make it. So arguably, I think it's the easier.
Yes, it is by far the easiest. I will give you that. I think ours is fairly easy. If you think about it, we've kind of handled Phoenix at home the last few years. Tulsa and Orange County, bottom of the West, they're playoff teams, but barely. I mean, what's their 3 points that separate them from Monterey Bay? So 5 points, 5 and 6 points.
Yeah.
So to me, everybody in the West is tough. Like we've already played Tulsa. They were up 3-0 on us. Like they obviously have talent. And so It's just a bloodbath
Yep.
for the most part.
That it is. Looking over at the East, first and second, obviously already locked in. I don't see Battery losing out. So I think you've got your 1 and 2, right? There you might have a little bit of room there if Lou City slips up for Battery to jump to that number 1, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, they would have to slip up pretty bad with a match in hand and a 6-point lead.
They would. I mean, they absolutely would. I mean, and looking at their schedule here, I mean, it's Miami, indeed, Tampa, and San Antonio. And
yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah,
I think we're safe.
Yep, and Battery's got Detroit, Pittsburgh, Rhode Island allowed. That's not an easy schedule.
No.
Really, once you get below that, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, really, the East to me, it's like 3 through 6, kind of jockeying for those last two home playoff matches in the first round, and then the 8th spot is if Hartford or North Carolina or Pittsburgh can make a run at Loudoun. Birmingham's kind of like in the Oakland role out east, where they're just kind of like stuck between these two groups. I know they're only a point behind Indy 11 and Rhode Island, but I just don't think they're as good as those two teams. And so I don't know. I haven't paid as close attention to the East, obviously, just because it's the East and we don't play in the East. But real quick, we only got a month left in the East. Since we're talking about the East now, is there anything in that 18 that surprised, or in those top 8, or in the East in general, that surprises the heck out of you?
Pittsburgh.
I was going to say Pittsburgh being in 11th is surprising to me.
You can pull it up, Seth. I'm pretty sure I had Pittsburgh out of the playoffs, and so
you might have. I'll pull that up.
So it's not super surprising, and they've come on strong, and so I don't. Detroit's probably the team that I missed the highest on. I think I either had them missing the playoffs or had them like barely in, and they've been a solid club. And so the East is pretty chalk. The West is wonky, I think.
Yeah. It's the Wild West.
Like if we're being honest, guys, like how surprised are you that we are 10 points clear of the 1? Like if we were to ask you honestly, if I were to go back to the beginning of the season and tell you, hey, Christina, on October 1st, we're going to be in first place in the West and we're going to be 10 points up on Sacramento, you probably wouldn't have believed me.
No, in Quill I trust. I would have been like, hell yeah.
Okay. You say
duh.
No, I mean, it's one of those things, given the history of this club and how it's done. I mean, add to that, you're gonna say, yeah, we've been in first place for 5 months.
Yeah.
That's
like,
what, yeah.
Since May 25th. It's crazy.
I wouldn't have agreed with that at all. I wouldn't have thought that was possible. But just knowing the history of this club and how we've done, but yeah, I mean, well, obviously we'll come back to this here in a couple of weeks and just take a look and see where we finished up. Now, obviously, we all missed on San Antonio from the West, and then from the East. I mean, I was way off on Pittsburgh. I expected a lot more out of them this year.
You had them second? Holy shit!
I did. Yeah,
that's like Harry having Phoenix and San Antonio as 1, 2 in the West.
Lily ball. That's that Lily ball. Earl being that far down on Lou City was surprising as well.
Was it though? Like, is it though?
Yeah, Earl math.
Earl math.
I mean, to put Rhode Island in second above, Lou City.
In Earl's defense, I mean, when I saw their squad, I was like, damn, like that's quite a squad that they put together for their inaugural year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't
know that I would have put them second, but I was pretty high on Rhode Island doing really well this year.
I've been high on Rhode Island pretty much all year, and obviously I have them third. So, but they're not that far off of third right now. So who knows? I missed on Detroit and Indy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be the 2 playoff teams that I did not have in the playoffs. Who's next to me? Earl having Loudoun last is an abomination.
Mhm.
And quite honestly, Seth, you not having Miami last is kind of an abomination.
Well, I knew it was going to be either Miami or North Carolina. So, it was one of the two. North Carolina promoting up. Miami being Miami. I mean, obviously, I missed on Battery. I didn't have faith in them after how they ended last season.
Oh, you didn't have them in the playoffs, huh?
I didn't have them in the playoffs.
God, we all had some major misses, huh?
Yeah.
What was mine? I don't know if I had like a major one. Detroit City.
Yeah.
Detroit City is probably the biggest one, and then maybe
Indy.
Yeah. But to be fair, right now, where Indy sits in fifth at 43 points, is only 7 points behind 11th place. I didn't miss them by that much point wise. That's what I'm going to tell myself, anyways.
Oh, there you go. Whatever you have to do to justify it for yourself. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like I said, we'll come back to this in a couple of weeks just to see kind of a finalized, standings and where we hit, where we missed.
I'll have a formula. I'll have some Earl math to figure out who won this thing.
Okay, you do that. And obviously, we will be doing a bracket challenge. Once the playoffs get here, so
for sure,
we'll be doing that as well. But we have one final piece of news to get to this evening, and I don't have it pulled up anywhere. I need to see if I can find a picture of it here real quick, unless one of you has it. David Weesey Carl was on the news this morning, promoting a new kit for New Mexico United. So
I would like to say that he was on our podcast first promoting a new kit.
That he was. That he most definitely was.
He wasn't wearing it though.
No,
that's the only difference.
All right, let's see. Here it is. Let me pull this up over here.
Justin and Josh and anybody else over in the chat, while he's doing that, let us know your surprises so far for how the standings have shaken out and what surprises you most and least. We'll go with what surprises you the least. Miami finishing last, probably.
El Paso finishing last has been a real nice cherry on top of this season.
It has. They're probably actually who I was the biggest miss on because I had them fairly firmly in the playoffs. Go for it, Seth.
Let's go. Gonna replay. So there you go. There is your introduction to the Pink Warrior House Foundation kits. If you didn't see the video, that was the trailer drop this morning. Obviously, David Weesey Carl over on the news this morning, pitching showing off the kit as well. And this is really cool. This is a really cool thing. A vastly different kit than we've seen the club do in the past, just in terms of coloring and all of that. But United's announcement: let's kick out cancer together. Our players and kids from at UNMH Hospital and Presbyterian Health join forces to bring our newest kit to life. Watch our guys wear the names of kids who have battled or are battling cancer at Kick Out Cancer Night next Wednesday the 9th when they take on Phoenix Rising FC. I mean, what do you guys think about this kit?
It's pink.
I have always coveted the Ball kids pink United shirt.
You have.
So
you have.
I'm like, all shag balls if it means I get a pink shirt. So I think it's pretty cool that they're doing that. I think it's really cool that they're putting the names of the kiddos who are battling cancer on the back of their kits. Mm-hmm. I really hope that they're going to have just some all black shorts I did not love, what was it, Meow Wolf, where it just clashed. It didn't look great.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. I want to see some pink shorts. That's what I want to see. I want to see
Spring for the shorts, please. Spring for the
pink.
shorts.
pink from head to thigh. That's what I want to see.
There you go. But yeah, no, a really cool concept, a really great idea, something that's, really means a lot, to the community. I don't know if I've talked about it on here. My grandmother passed away from cancer. Obviously not a kid battling cancer, but it is something that means a lot to my family to see the club being involved in helping fund cancer research. And it's important to note that I believe all the proceeds from these kits are going directly to the Pink Warrior House Foundation. So yeah, this is for me, it's a huge deal. This is one that as soon as it's available, I will definitely try to buy this one. And again, I know pink is not for everybody. I get that. It is a very, very bright kit, but I think it's important to support these types of foundations and support those that have gone through this. I mean, what do you guys think? Is this a kit that you would buy? Just based off the coloring alone, or is there something that makes this mean more to you guys as well?
My dad passed away from cancer as well, so I think Justin saying pink and yellow, I'm like, okay, I suppose I can be swayed on the yellow stripe on the shorts just to represent cancer too. But for sure I want to buy one. Don't tell my husband. I was banned from buying anything this season. It hasn't worked out that way.
I think if you tell him that proceeds go to charity, then
yeah, he'll be on board. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. I kind of was hoping it would be a little bit more. I love the color, but we've seen the design, so I was kind of hoping for a new design. But the name on the back and all of that. I mean, the proceeds going to it. Kudos to the club.
The teaser picture from yesterday made me think it was going to be black with pink, and I feel like I would have liked that a little bit more. I personally am a fan of pink. I have like 3 pink shirts, something like that. I've got a lot of pink shirts. Nothing quite as pink as these seem to be, but I do enjoy wearing a pink pink jersey, and so I would buy it for sure. It is a little on the boring side compared to what I thought we could do with it, but great cause. The back of the name on the back is awesome. It's my grandpa did pass away from cancer as well, or complications from cancer. The cancer didn't technically kill him, but the pneumonia and everything else did. And then my buddy Will in the chat, he's got a special place. I'm not going to tell his story, but it is pretty important to him too. So it's there for what they represent, and they're cool enough to me to be pretty awesome.
Yeah. From the official release from the club, New Mexico United is proud to partner with Presbyterian and UNMH's pediatric hematology/oncology programs and the Pink Warrior House Foundation to present the Kick Out Cancer Kit, an incredible, vibrant pink jersey that will be available for purchase next week. Proceeds from the sale of this jersey will go directly to support the Pink Warrior House Foundation, who supports breast cancer patients and their families as they fight through treatment. As part of the club's celebration of our cancer fighting community, New Mexico United players recently visited patients at the University of New Mexico and Presbyterian Pediatric Oncology and Hematology programs. Each player was paired up with a patient who is currently fighting or recently beaten cancer. Instead of wearing their own names on the back of the Kick Out Cancer jerseys at October 9th's match, players will wear the name of the child they were paired up with. So, Match worn
I saw
jerseys will
that-
be auctioned off online, with proceeds also benefiting the Pink Warrior House Foundation.
That's awesome. I saw that they're also selling hats, and for every hat that they sell, they're donating a beanie as well.
Okay. I missed that. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very cool. Jacob, your friend, looks like Williams over in the chat, or Wilson in the chat.
He said I can. I'm still not going to. The short one is he lost his mom to, I believe, breast cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Will he can correct me in the chat, but that's part of why I'm not going to tell his full story, is because I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to not do it justice, so to speak. And so, yeah, very, very important night. I'm excited for it. I love that it's Phoenix that we're playing. Give us, I mean, you think the guys, you think the guys don't get fired up enough for Phoenix? If you throw this on top of it, they're going to be having a lot to play for there, and so, it's going to be a good one.
So yeah, a limited number of jerseys will be available for purchase online on October 9th, while the vast majority of the jerseys will be made available for purchase at the match at Isotopes Park. So
you got to put Justin's comment on this screen, because that's good.
I got you.
Love it. See, I'm gonna have to get one, and then every time we have a game on Wednesdays, I'm gonna wear my pink one.
There you go. Perfect. It's I mentioned, I don't know what Jacob did.
I meant to get rid of the comment, and I got rid of me somehow. I don't know what happened.
So I mean, I've talked. I ref. It's very rare that I have the opportunity. So a couple of years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, IFAB and FIFA approved the use of pink referee kits in support of breast cancer awareness, cancer awareness. And it's very, very rare that I would get the opportunity to do that, because so few people have them. So this is it's a very cool thing. And we've talked about before, the club is tremendously involved in the community, and this is just another thing that they're doing. So
yep.
So if you can, go out, support the club, and obviously support these great programs, and especially the Pink Warrior House Foundation. So
I'm kind of upset at myself for not using the Wednesday we wear pink on the social media post for tonight. That was a huge swing and a miss there. But stop making fetch happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen, Justin. It's not going to happen.
You can do it next week for the game.
I do have pink a pink mouse and a pink keyboard right now, just so you know. It's not quite as pink, but it is pink.
Well, there you go. I think that's just gonna just about wrap it up for us here this evening. Do you guys have any closing comments, questions, concerns before we get out of here?
No.
All right. Well, Jacob, get us out of here.
Yes, sir. So as you can tell, there's no match preview this week because there's no match this weekend. So we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll preview the Kick Out Cancer match against Phoenix and the trip to FC Tulsa the following Saturday. So a little bit of downtime here before a big week coming up next week. And so be sure to get out to the lab. You only have 2 chances left. This one's going to be a really good one with a really good cause behind it. And so get out there Wednesday, October 9th. I believe it's 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And 7. Okay. Get out there 7:00. And I'll tell you guys to do that again next week after we preview those matches. Christina and Seth, thank you so much. Earl, if you're listening, I do still love you. You have been a pain in the ass, as I told you the other day lately, but I do still love you and hope that things settle down for you. Obviously, they're not, because you have a baby, and that it doesn't get easier, my friend. But you'll learn how to handle it for sure. William, Justin, Josh, Jane, Anybody else that was in the chat that I'm forgetting, thank you guys so much. We will be back next Tuesday. Hope to see y'all then. And until then, somos lindos.